Welcome to Built in Vegas, the podcast where we spotlight the stories, strategies, and resources behind the businesses that make Vegas thrive. Whether you're starting up or scaling up, you're in the right place. Brought to you by the Video Podcast Studio.
All right, what's up, everybody? We're doing a live episode today of Built in Vegas. So Built in Vegas is my vision of creating a community for entrepreneurs, sharing stories of entrepreneurs here in town that have built businesses, that are building businesses, that have sold businesses, everything in between, right? So I don't know about you guys, but I feel like entrepreneurship is a pretty lonely journey sometimes. And sometimes it's hard to find your community, to find support, to find people that are trying to do similar things that you're trying to do. Maybe you don't have time. Maybe you just struggle making friends. I think for me, it's all the above. I don't have time with my son's hockey, with the other kid, with my wife, with the business. It's hard to find that support system and to find that mentorship. And so that was kind of the vision behind Built in Vegas, is to bring in some community resources. Like we're going to be bringing in the chambers soon and talking about the best way to use a chamber. We're going to be bringing in like grant writers and talking about like different grant programs. We're going to talk about a few different community resources that you as an entrepreneur can leverage. And then we're also interviewing entrepreneurs along their journey and getting feedback, advice from them. So if you guys have any questions about entrepreneurship or anything that you're struggling with, make sure you comment, make sure you DM me so I can ask the entrepreneurs that we're bringing on. And we have some really incredible ones that I've already interviewed and that are going to be coming on. And so, yeah, today is just kind of like a live episode. So if you guys are watching, feel free to comment, ask any questions. I'm happy to answer anything, but I want to talk about just the journey of entrepreneurship. Like it really is not easy. I think oftentimes social media makes it seem like entrepreneurship is so easy. You have all these gurus online making all this money in their sleep and they don't even work. But the truth is entrepreneurship is so hard and it takes so much time, especially in the beginning. It takes so much time. And honestly, as you grow, it doesn't really change. Just because you make more money doesn't mean that you have less problems. In fact, the more money you make in business, it seems like the more headache there is because now you're dealing with people, right? Now you have to hire, you have to fire, you have to build assets, you have to build systems and processes, you have to lead. It just gets harder and harder. And in a recent conversation I had with Nathan, the president and founder of NDL, which is a construction company here in town, one of the things that surprised me was because to me, like he's made it. Like he's got this pretty big company. They're doing amazing things. They make great money. And to me, I was like, oh, you must not have any stresses in the world, right? Like life must be easy, life as far as business goes, because you got teams. He's like, dude, I still work 60 hours a week. I work hard. It's stressful. It's never easy. There's always something going on, right? And so that kind of changed my perspective. And that's kind of the point of this podcast, right? It's to have these conversations with entrepreneurs on every stage of their journey and learn from them, for myself, so I can learn and grow. And there'll be some episodes where I do solo kind of like this and share more of my experience and where we're at and kind of document the process of us growing the business. So I've been an entrepreneur, I guess technically my entire adult life. I started at like 21-ish, but I wasn't really an entrepreneur. I was a solopreneur, right? And I think there's a difference there. Like an entrepreneur, you're building businesses, you're hiring people. Solopreneur, you're owning your own job, which is still great. It afforded me incredible opportunities. It was incredibly hard. That's something when I talk to younger filmers and they ask for advice, their question always is like, how do I get to where you are? And it's like, well, dude, I've been doing this for like 17 years and you've been doing this for a year. like it's really time. Time is one of the biggest assets to your business, right? Because time helps you build reputation, it helps you build experience, it helps you build growth, it helps you build relationships with customers and get more customers. You learn so much along that journey of time. That time is really the only way you're going to get from solopreneur to entrepreneur, business leader, exit, right? Now, obviously, there's exceptions to the rule where some people overnight almost seems like became incredibly successful. But most entrepreneurs that I've spoken to on this podcast in the past, working with them for the past 15 years, is you realize that this isn't their first business. They failed 2 or 3 times before this. They've been doing it for 20, 30 years. And, just because people on social media makes it seem like you can do this overnight, the truth is it just takes time. There's no shortcuts. There's no get rich quick scheme in building a true business. There's things that just have to happen that you have to learn. And it's unfortunate. I wish that we were just already crazy successful and super rich, right? Like that'd be wonderful. I'd love to wake up tomorrow and be like, oh, we're bringing in X amount of dollars. This is great. I have no stresses about paying bills. But during this time and during this struggle, you learn so much. You learn, one, what you're capable of, right? Like entrepreneurship, like I already talked about in the beginning, is not easy. This isn't for the weak of heart. There's nothing simple about trying to build a business, even as a solopreneur. And then once you introduce leading people, once you introduce having to build systems and processes, once you introduce having overhead, right? And you're in charge of making sure this family gets their money to feed their kids every month, right? It only gets harder. And time teaches you the things that you need to do. Time teaches you the resiliency that you need, the experiences that you need. You have to go through those struggles so you can become a better entrepreneur, not only for yourself, but for your employees, for your clients, for what you're building. Right. So there's no shortcut. It's not easy. And those online social media gurus that tell you it is, they're just full of crap. Right. And they're going to sell you a course about selling courses to people about selling courses. We all know that drill in this world. So look, the truth is it's scary. Right. I had a fellow friend, entrepreneur, client, referral partner person in the studio today. And she came in. I was like, hey, how's business going? Which I feel like a lot of times entrepreneurs don't have the opportunity to speak out loud. Another friend actually posted last night that man, things are hard. So if you're thinking about buying apparel, buy now, right? Like trying to make sure I have enough cash to pay everybody is a struggle right now. Things have been slow. Whereas on the outside looking in, you think, oh, he's crushing it. He's got employees. He's got a business. Oh, he's got a car. Like you think that people are killing it a lot more than they are. Looking at my experience, even as a solopreneur, people always thought that we were just like some big company that had all these employees and that we were killing it. And it was just me. And then some freelancers that I was incredibly grateful that they've always worked with me and I've built a good team. But it's just me. We're so small and we need referrals. We need that help, right? But the problem is most people I'm looking on the outside think that you're just killing it because you run a business. And so, yeah, my friend came in today. We shot some content together for an event we have coming up. And, I asked her how business is. And she said, hey, it's a struggle. Lost a big client recently. And now I got to figure out how to replace that, right? And entrepreneurship is amazing. I wouldn't change it for anything. I almost gave up at one point, which I'm sure I'll talk about, but I wouldn't change doing this for anything else. Even though you're nonstop stressed out, right? This isn't like I said, this isn't for the weak of heart. Actually, I was talking to somebody else about that the other day, another entrepreneur here in the studio, about that and stress. And he was saying that, he's reading the study that entrepreneurs actually die so much younger than the people that work 9 to 5s because of the stress that they put on their hearts, right? So we're on a dangerous path. We're on a stressful path. We're on a path that feels so alone. I mean, honestly, there's been so many nights where I'm alone in the studio and I'm just sitting here thinking, like, did I make a big mistake trying to build this? Did I make a big mistake investing in this? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do this, right? Like, and I'm beating myself up. Everybody else knows what they're doing. Everybody else is killing it. I'm the only one that can't figure it out, right? Which isn't true. Not everybody, but most people are struggling. Even the clients I know that are killing it, like straight up, like 8 figures, 9 figures, killing it financially. They have different struggles and they have different stresses and different things that overwhelm them. So it's not an easy path, right? And if you've ever tried starting a business, or if you're starting a business now, if you are a business owner, I think you could relate, right? And once again, that's the whole point of this podcast, is to let entrepreneurs know that they're not alone, right? That this person's been through this and look at them now, or this person's going through it right now, and sharing those stories and sharing the resources to help you along this journey. Because, I mean, one, I need the help. I need the support. I don't really have a lot of people to turn to and talk about entrepreneurship. I don't have time for it, but I also just don't have those relationships with people that are doing it because they're typically busy and I don't like to ask for their time. And so that's kind of the vision of this podcast, is to build a community for entrepreneurs. And I'm pumped. Like, I'm excited. We've already had some amazing conversations. We've dropped a couple episodes. We're going to be better about posting it and sharing it and talking about what we're doing and bringing the people on and emailing it all. It's just, there's so many moving pieces to these things, right? And I hope that this helps you guys along your journey. I hope that if you are struggling with anything in entrepreneurship, that you feel free to reach out, ask your questions. I'll ask them to the guests that I bring on, because I want this to be valuable for you as an entrepreneur trying to grow your business in our town, right? This is for Vegas entrepreneurs. This is built in Vegas. So I'm excited for this journey. It's cool. We got a bunch of really cool episodes coming out soon, so make sure you check those out. We interviewed Ryan from NTI. We got some marketing people dropping soon, a few different ones. We got some raw interviews coming about entrepreneurship where things get pretty serious and people are opening up. So anyways, just wanted to go live really quick and do a quick small episode about what Built in Vegas is, what to look forward to with what we're building. And I hope to see you guys in YouTube watching it. That's where we are right now. I need to upload to Spotify and all that stuff still. But yeah, go to YouTube, Built in Vegas. Check it out. Thank you guys again. And bye.
Welcome to Built in Vegas, the podcast where we spotlight the stories, strategies, and resources behind the businesses that make Vegas thrive. Whether you're starting up or scaling up, you're in the right place. Brought to you by the Video Podcast Studio.